Hey everybody, Emily Mayer here, host of Breathe, Hope, Vote, where we talk about all things electoral, legislative here in South Carolina through the Arena, the only progressive media company here in South Carolina. My interview for the week is with one of my dear friends, Mallory Dittmer, up in York County. Mallory, thank you so much for hanging out with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So, the reason that I wanted you to share your wisdom to the masses today is because I know that where I live, where you live, some other places have already started, but we are around the corner from filing for school board seats in the upcoming election. And you have been instrumental in your community in rallying folks, organizing the community, and just making sure that folks understand the importance of the role that the school board plays in their lives. So, can you share a little bit about the organization that's taken place up in York County that you all have been leading to really fight back against Moms for Liberty up there?
Yeah, absolutely. Um, so back after the midterms, when we saw kind of the rest of the country seemed to kind of have this great blue wave, and we unfortunately had this red wave here in South Carolina, um, especially with the appointment of Ellen Weaver to state superintendent. Some of us got together and were just feeling like we needed to do something to create, some organization around an opposition for Moms for Liberty and for this extreme direction public education was headed. And so it was January of 2023 where we really kind of got together. We're called CAPE, Community Advocates for Public Education. And it's just six of us now. We've lost a couple on the way, but there are a core six of us that are a combination of educators, counselors, parents in the district who just really wanted people to pay attention to what Moms for Liberty is doing in our community. And that's not unique to York County. That Moms for Liberty, unfortunately, has a massive stronghold in South Carolina. And they're causing a lot of disruption, whether it be in our school board meetings or in these book challenges that are happening, or at the State House with Ellen Weaver, these regulations that are coming out that are really threatening our teachers and the libraries and everything else. So we are truly grassroots. We're not even formed as an organization. We promised ourselves we'd be a very, very active Facebook group, not a Facebook group everyone comes and complains and does nothing about it. We are super active in the community. We're very active with our local lawmakers. We put together, I think last year we had like over 30 events throughout the year where we're just bringing people together, getting them informed. And now this year, it's like, everything is just magnified to such an extent because we have this major election year. So we're ready. We actually just met 2 days ago to talk through our strategy for the upcoming election, because we run these big campaigns so that people really start to pay attention to what's going on and make sure they know, who stands for what and who's going to be on their ballot and when to get out to the polls. So that was a
You
big
guys do
long
a
answer.
fantastic job. No, that's perfect. You did a fantastic job with the education piece of it. Ironic. Cape educating people at the same time. I'm just putting that together. But you guys did a great job putting out some voter education tools ahead of the primaries. You had some pretty extreme candidates on your ballots, and you guys did a great job making sure that folks knew who they were voting for. We know that that didn't necessarily result the way that we might have wanted, but at least folks could say that they had the information. No longer can people say, oh, well, I didn't know, or they didn't seem that bad when I talked to them. You really laid it out in plain English for them. And I think that's so important in today's society. So thank you for doing that. What have been some of the challenges? We know book banning has been a huge topic, but specific to York County, I know there have been some bathroom conversations, things of that nature. What are some things that you all have mobilized around and have been fighting against at your school boards?
So the majority of us are actually in Fort Mill Fort Mill School District. That's where all the organizers we live. It is a very large district. It's actually the number one district in the state, but where it Moms for Liberty really has a stronghold here in Fort Mill specifically. One of the races you were talking about with the primary was the former founder of Moms for Liberty York County ran for state house against a sitting school board member. And I just want to talk about this really quickly if we can, because it
Please.
is so important that people step up and run. We need to recognize that whether it be the state house or school board, these are not like boring election times at all anymore. It's not just a simple school board race. It's not just a simple house race. We had someone, the candidate who ran for house is a fantastic candidate, who unfortunately decided to lean too much on her name recognition to do the work in her campaign. And when you have an opponent like the former founder of Moms for Liberty up York County against you, these people have a lot of money, a lot of connections, and are full of just relentless, hateful energy to go out and run their campaigns. And so really, it was a big disappointment. And another race in Fort Mill, we did have go our way, which we fought really hard for. So at least we were celebrating a bit on election night for the primary. I just wanted to mention that these are not normal times when it comes to school board races. People are raising more money than ever. They're getting out there. But at the same time, people on the right side of these arguments are galvanized more than ever, especially now with all the momentum we're seeing with the Democratic Party nationally. I just had a meeting yesterday with a woman who's, seriously considering running for Rock Hill School Board. And it's just the energy and the excitement is evident. And so the opportunities for fundraising, the opportunities for volunteers is just massive in a presidential election year, and especially one like this year. So
Yeah.
just wanted to say like that. No one can really rest on their laurels right now. It's got to be an aggressive fight to save public education in South Carolina. So
Yeah, I always say, even at a national level, right? People like to say, oh, well, we're up in this poll in this state, or I'm like, always act like you're behind in the polls. Like, don't
yeah.
ever let your foot off the gas. We're running through that finish line. It is full speed ahead. And so you just started touching on it, and I love that. So in the year 2024, there's really no such thing as a nonpartisan race. You and I have spent some unique time talking about that. I joined you on your podcast when I was running for a nonpartisan seat back in February, and the realities of what nonpartisan really means. But knowing that there's really no such thing as nonpartisan anymore, when we look at school board races, what do you say to people who are considering stepping up running for those seats, but see the turmoil that has been going on, the targeting, the demonizing of not just educators, but school board officials who are making the right decisions, voting on the right side of issues, things that are truly beneficial to public schools and upholding those values that they were elected to. I've had conversations with folks who have said, oh, well, I've considered it, but I'm really concerned about my safety, my family's safety. I really don't want to be drug through that. How do you really motivate folks and inspire folks to step up to run for some of these spots?
I think we have to remember that in every moment of change in history, it took really brave people stepping up and doing the right thing. Unfortunately, it doesn't really matter who you are or how you voted in the past. We have such an extreme right flank, coming to the table. The school board member I mentioned, she's a lifetime Republican who ran in the Republican primary. And they came out and painted her as a Democrat simply because there's photos of her with Democrats, that she knows how to work with Democrats. The fact that she's not so extreme on issues like abortion or issues like just about anything. So basically, unless you are a member of the far right MAGA party, you don't belong to them. And so for anyone that lives anywhere left of that, from the center all the way over, it's about standing tall in what you believe. It's about connecting with people. It's about putting in the work, just recognizing, luckily for school board, that's a really short race, but it's about committing your life for 3 months to getting out and talking to as many people as you possibly can, because their hate is very loud. I'll be honest. These people we're talking about, they're the trolls online. You know, they're the ones sparking up these heated debates on your, like, your neighborhood pages and it's just, it's crazy, but they're not that many of them. They're just very, very, very loud. And so getting out and having one-on-one conversations with people to overcome the noise is so critical. But like I said, 3 months school board race, like that's so doable.
Yeah, not only is it a short race, you can really narrow what your scope and platform is, right? You don't have to talk about abortion. You don't have to talk about gun
Right.
safety. You only have to talk about public education. And I mean, I can talk about that all day. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But also, I think they, the far right extremists who are extremely loud, also want you to stay home, right? They want you to be scared. They don't want you to even put your name on the ballot out of that fear, right? By standing down, you are allowing them to win. It allows them to run unopposed, unchallenged, not have to answer for the values, the true values that they hold, right? They try to mask them as parent choice. Well, I'm a parent and I do not agree with Moms for Liberty, right? So that's what those are the conversations we've been having down here, because we've been having, this similar issues and similar conversations. We have actually a vacant seat on school board down here that filing closed yesterday for that special election, and we were like, listen, it's it's a special election, one. Two, it's school board, right? There's so many pieces to that. But that's the thing to me that I think people need to hear loud and clear, is that allowing these nonpartisan races to become partisan allows these people to win, and allowing them to get away with their extremist views. So I'm thrilled that you have folks who are interested in having these conversations with you, and I hope that that results in candidacy and success, for your school districts. But you are also doing some incredible proactive work. I know a lot of the times when we are doing this work, it feels like we are on the defense a lot. But school year is starting. It's right around the corner. Talk about some of the positive things that CAPE is doing for your educators in your community.
Oh my gosh, we just got off doing our annual Amazon wish list drive, which has been so incredible. It's such a great way to bring teachers together. They feel so valued just to be given a platform to share their wish list. We raised a ton of money, and whether our organizers, groups, or local businesses have pitched in to help, and like that's just such fun, positive momentum. So that's been one of the most recent, most fun things that we've done. And I think just a note on education, just in general, going back to what you said earlier, education is such a wonderful unifier in a world where, we have so many polarizing topics. Education, your public education, your kids' school is really the easiest thing to talk about. That's the easiest position to run for, because everyone is invested in your public schools. It's a very low percentage of people, I think 10% across the state, that even attend private school. And so everyone's invested in your schools. Typically, communities are rallied around the schools. They're literally the unifiers in the way that we all come together, on Friday night for the football game, or just for back to school season, whatever it may be. And that was one of the other reasons why I really wanted to get involved in CAPE was, I'm very passionate about public education. My husband is a high school teacher here in the district, and my kids attend public school. But I also saw it as a way to really get women engaged in politics at all, because it's this great, great gateway to this world where we know we can't be on the sidelines. I mean, that's so obvious, where education is an easy topic to talk about. People, it directly affects their families, the things that go on at our school board meetings, the things that go on, with the State Board of Education. So that really does make running for school board easier than some of the other races.
Absolutely. And, as has been become a theme here in the 2024 election, you don't have to just have kids to care about kids, right?
Yeah.
Like, there are members of your community who don't have to be parents of public school kids, who want to see their communities thrive, who want to be able to retire and be cared for within their communities. And we cannot do that without a strong public school system. That was something that Lisa Ellis was always really fond of saying on the trail, right? She was somebody who did not have kids, but has invested her entire life and career to public education, and she wants to see it thrive. And, you know, I feel like I have more respect for people who do not have a stake in the game and still choose to show up and fight alongside of us,
Yeah.
because it means so much to them. And you can see that in the conversations that have happened because of this shift in enthusiasm and just dynamic of this upcoming election have really been so refreshing. And it makes me feel good to know that that's happening in all of the corners of our state. So thank you. Any closing words that you would like to share about the stake of public education and getting involved in your local communities?
Yeah. Well, we hear a lot about Project 2025 right now. And in South Carolina, unfortunately, we're living it already in education. And so if you don't know that already, it's time to just start paying attention, start following different accounts, like the Arena or like the SC Gazette, who are like, you know, promoting these articles that in a very clear way explain what's at stake here. And aside from running for school board, building an advocacy group locally around your school district or around your county, it is the most empowering, fun, and fulfilling thing I think I've ever done. Like, it's just, you create such a great friend group, you find your people, and you make a difference at the same time. So I really encourage that. Just start organizing, whether you personally are going to run or not. Find a campaign to get involved with, get some friends together, and just throw up an Instagram account or a Facebook account and just go for it, because we really need all hands on deck here in South Carolina, especially. We're too far down the line. And, unfortunately, Ellen Weaver's still got a bit of time left in her term. So we got to be on offense.
Yeah, yeah. And you don't have to wait for something to happen in your community to start showing up to school board meetings. That was something I wish we were louder about before all of the alarm bells started ringing, right? Like, I even had people at my local school district say to me, like, we wish we could have had you all at the meetings leading up to the book removal, so maybe it wouldn't have even happened to begin with. But it took books being removed for people to get outraged and get involved. So if you're hearing anything today from me and Mallory talking, you don't have to wait for something terrible to happen to show up at your local school board meetings. In fact, it's probably better if you don't wait. So thank you. If you start showing up to your local school board meetings because of this, we are appreciative. We have done our job today. Mallory, thank you so much for all you are doing in your county and across our state. That was Mallory Dittmer. I'm Emily Mayer. This was Breathe Hope Votes interview of the week, and we will catch you next time.